What is up, guys? This is a bit of a different setting than usual. I'm feeling pretty lazy. I've worked out yesterday and I walked for like, I think, a couple of hours perhaps. So I'm a bit beat up. And we are doing our predictions for UFC Fight Night. I think it's Noche Mexico, maybe? I don't know, but it's in Mexico. So we are starting our card with Muhammad Naimov versus Eric Silva. I'm gonna be straight up with you guys. Some of these predictions are gonna be kind of quick because I also skipped on the Topuria versus Volkanovski predictions, but I actually have like screenshots of my bets, which I've won a couple of them for last week, which was pretty cool. I appreciate the universe for letting Topuria KO Volkanovski because it was paying like times 4.5, I think, which was pretty good. So, Naimov versus Silva, I'm of course gonna go with Naimov. I think he's faced way better of competition than Eric Silva has. And besides, Eric Silva is like 36 years old, Naimov is like 29 if I'm not mistaken. So I think that's a pretty easy pick. I think Naimov will probably knock him out, perhaps second round. But yeah, I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say Naimov second round KO. But I wouldn't be shocked if it goes to a first round KO, honestly, because Naimov packs a punch. So we're moving on to Victor Altamirano versus Felipe Dos Santos, which is a pretty interesting fight. I did like Dos Santos' debut, which was against Manuel Cap. Was a pretty close fight, but I also think that Victor Altamirano, perhaps being accustomed to the height in Mexico, which is above sea level, I think it's gonna be to his advantage. I also think he's faced way better competition than Felipe Dos Santos has. Let's look at his record. I know he lost to Tim Elliott last time out, but if I do remember correctly, it was a close fight, and Tim Elliott was, using his pretty dirty tactics, not gonna lie, like grabbing the glove, grabbing the cage. So, yeah, I also have, like, yeah, I have hopes for him. He's won against Daniel Lacerda, Vinicius Salvador, and I think that his only fight in the UFC, this is, Mr. Dos Santos has been against Manuel Cap. Yeah, and all of his other fights have been outside of the UFC. So yeah, let's say that our friend Victor Altamirano wins. Next up, we're going Denis Bondar versus Luis Rodriguez. Denis Bondar, a guy that was pretty hyped up. He had a lot of hype coming into the UFC, but ever since he came, he fucking lost to Malcolm Gordon and Carlos Hernandez. I do not like that. I really do not like that. And on the other hand, we have Luis Rodriguez. I've just realized there's a lot of flyweight fights in this card. A ton of them. Okay, his only loss I've seen so far that matters, outside of the XFL, is the Contender Series loss against Jerome Rivera. But after that, he's put on a 5-win streak, looking pretty good. And I don't like his nickname Lazy Boy, but I guess we have to go with him. Yeah, seems a way safer bet than Denis Bondar, who's lost a bunch. And next we have the bane of my parlays, my compatriot Claudio Puelles. I feel quite inclined to pick the Peruvian here, but as I've said in my previous like prediction videos, I do not really like have this much of a yeah, he's from my country, let's fucking go. Like his last performance against Dan Hooker was like abysmal. And it was kind of embarrassing because I was hyping this guy up with my friends. I was like, no, you guys, we need to check his previous fights. And he's gonna probably sub Hooker. He has like a really good BJJ. He's a black belt and shit. And then we just see him like Granby roll, Limanari roll, like in a really lazy way. So, I don't know. I really hated that fight. And I know this is gonna be like above sea level. And in Peru, we have like lots of places above sea level. We're really good for training. We have lots of Olympic medalists in different like disciplines. But I don't know where his training was at, where his camp was at. Was he acclimated? I don't know, to this new latitude. And on the other hand, we got Fares Siam, which I've seen a couple of fights of his. I saw the Jai Herbert fight. I saw the Terence McKinney fight, which he lost by rear naked choke. And for me, this is kind of like a last chance for Puelles to be like someone I take into consideration for betting, because I am going to bet Claudio Puelles wins by submission as soon as it's opened. I haven't seen it open in the page where I do my bets, but I think that Siam's gonna take a decision. It's a more likely outcome than Puelles winning by submission. For me, it's a pick and fight. It's whether you feel more confident on Puelles, who's looked horrible in his last fight. But to be fair, he was facing Dan Hooker, who's a beast. But I don't know, man. You have the younger fighter in Farisiam, probably gotten way better since that McKinney fight. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to pick Farisiam by way of unanimous decision. But I also believe that Puelles has a solid chance of subbing this guy. I don't know. We'll have to see. Next on, we have a really, really fun fight, which is Edgar Chairez versus Daniel Lacerda. Edgar Chairez, he's a dog. He's a really good fighter. Hasn't never been finished, I think. And Daniel Lacerda is the guy that has like around a minute of cardio or two, being generous. So if he doesn't get him out of there in like the first couple of minutes, I think it's curtains for him. So I'm not gonna waste a lot of time in this one. I think Chairez takes the fight, unanimous decision probably. So that's gonna be my prediction. And next up we have Mateus Mendonça. I don't know how you pronounce that. I'm not Portuguese, so against Jesus Aguilar. It's kind of weird. I'm picking like all the Mexicans to win, but I don't know, man. I've seen Mendonça fight. I remember his like Javid Bashrat fight. He was getting like pieced up in that fight. That Nate Menez fight also was kind of rough, but I still think like Mendonça has some tools, man. The thing is like his fight IQ is just not there. But on the other hand, we have Jesus Aguilar, who's a guy that lost to Tatsuro by armbar, and then his next fight he joined the Shannon Ross KO Club, which is everybody knocks out Shannon Ross. But I don't know, man. He packs a punch. He's beaten Chairez, by the way, via guillotine. So, dude, I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to take him. Jesus Aguilar. We're picking another Mexican to win and jump on to the next fight, which is Heoni Barcelos against Christian Quinones. Heoni Barcelos is like 37, 36 years old. He's pretty old. I have just realized I haven't smoked this, so we're gonna do that. Before we keep talking about our guy, Heoni Barcelos. Like, this is a guy who is 36, yeah, 36 years old, 173 in height, 72, I'm sorry, inches of reach, but he's lost to Kyler Phillips. Like, if you lose to Umar, that fight with Umar was good. I do remember that fight. Holy shit. It's a year ago. No, yeah, it was a year ago. Holy fuck. Time fucking flies. He's beaten Trevin Jones. But I don't know, man. If your last win, that matters. This is a guy that beat Said Nurmagomedov in 2019. But at 36 years old, man, I don't know. That's pretty up there. And you have Christian Quinones, who's 27, and he's lost to Kyung Ho Kang by RNC. God damn. Okay, he has two losses via submission, and I'm not seeing any submissions. Oh, he won by submission in Glory, but that was like ages ago. Oh, I don't know, man. Do I want to take Heoni Barcelos via submission here? He's old as fuck, dude. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna say, just to break the trend of Mexicans winning, I'm gonna say Heoni Barcelos takes this by submission. Yep, that's my pick there. Next up, we have Chris Duncan versus Manuel Torres. Chris Duncan, he is a problem, as his name suggests, because he did beat. Oh, he beat Jenna Lashimov, the guy that KO'd this fucking Patterson. He knocked out Patterson. So he packs a punch, but I think he broke his hand or his like elbow or some shit in the fight. And this is a guy in Duncan that has been KO'd. Low volume, from what I can tell, looking at his stats. So perhaps not him. We have his opponent in Manuel Torres, who is higher volume. He has longer reach. He's taller. He's beaten Nicolas Moda, Frank Camacho. He's lost via submission a couple of times though. But Duncan, I don't think, has like this really crazy submission game. He's more of a brawler, a technical brawler, let's say, because he doesn't have much volume. So I'm gonna have to say Manuel Torres. Manuel Torres. Next up, we have Sam Hughes versus Jasmine Haragi. Both these fighters I know. I've seen Sam Hughes, her last fight was okay, I guess. Like, It wasn't like the greatest fight, but she did beat Jacqueline Amorin. I think I won a bet betting on Sam Hughes in this fight. But you know, it's women's MMA, like looking at Sam Hughes' records up and down. And we have Jasmine Horigi, who got, I think, like sparked her last fight. Yeah, Denise Gomez like knocked her out in 20 seconds. So how do you come back from that? I mean, Sam Hughes has some heat on her hands, like not gonna lie. So I think, like, I'm pretty sure like the UFC doesn't give a fuck about Sam Hughes. So they're probably like not flying her to this like Mexico heavy card for her to get a W, you know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I think I'm gonna take the underdog in Sam Hughes by decision or ground and pound finish, just to be like kind of freaky. I don't know, man. That Harugi, like, I know anybody can get caught in a couple of seconds, whatever. But like, dude, she got sparked in 20 seconds, man. Fuck, I don't know. You know, perhaps she comes back and fucking knocks out Sam Hughes, but I don't know, man. I think I'm taking Sam Hughes by unanimous or split decision. That's a pick. Next up, we have Raul Rosas Jr. versus Ricky Tercios. Raul Rosas Jr., a guy that went out and also sparked a guy in like under a minute his last win, but it was a fucking nobody. So does that really count? We did see him almost finish. I think it was fuck. What was the name of this Brazilian? The one that beat him. I think it was like Christian something. Yeah, Christian Rodriguez was his name. Christian Rodriguez, like he almost had him in the first round, and then he had like no gas tank. His punches looked awful. His fucking grappling looked so diminished in the second round. So, I don't know, man. How much effort did they put in this fucking camp regarding cardio? Because like I know fucking Ricky Tercius can go the distance. You know what I mean? I know he can fucking do it. So, oh man, this is a rough one. This is a fucking rough one. But I think I'm gonna go. Oh fuck! I really don't want to go Raul Rosas Jr. I don't know why. Ricky Tercius doesn't have that good of a takedown defense, but fuck. Yeah, let's just say Raul Rosas Jr. Probably the rear naked choke. Yeah, I'm gonna say Rosas Jr. rear naked choke, just because Tercius really likes being taken down. It's not like he doesn't have any BJJ, but I think like Rosa's gonna be younger, heavier, more powerful. So yeah, let's just fucking say Rosas Jr. and move on. Next up we have Daniel Selhuber and fucking Francisco Prado, the Argentinian who has like a lot of KO power. I think he dropped Jamie Mullarkey in that fight that he was like losing, of course, but he did drop Mullarkey. That now we can tell doesn't have the greatest chin. But Selhuber has some pop in his punches, man, and he has a grappling advantage. I think like whenever fucking Mularkey took down Prado, he was just there, no attempts to get up. Um, so yeah, I think this is an easy Selhuber pick. I know one of his fights. I'm gonna look it up right now. The Trey Ogden fight was pretty embarrassing. And after that, he just beat Lando Banada, which is okay. And Christos Yalos, who has some grappling, like he beat him by Yannick on the choke. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go Selhuber. I think he has way more tools to get the victory. Next up, we have a pretty easy matchup: Brian Ortega versus Jair Rodriguez. I think Ortega is out of the game. He's taken so many layups. I know everybody got fucking impressed when he beat Korean Zombie, but I mean Ortega was like a foot hell tall, a foot hell. What the fuck? Don't smoke that much, guys. He was a full head taller than Korean Zombie. Looked fucking huge in that fight. Beat the shit out of Zombie. So yeah, I don't have that much stock in that fight. Zombie's retired at this point. And Jay Rodriguez has been active. He's fought for the belt and was beating the fuck out of Ortega before Ortega got that takedown and got his shoulder dislocated. And to be quite honest, ever since that Holloway fight, and even in some of the previous Ortega fights, he's been hittable, and he can pull off that Hail Mary submission against these like older fighters. But can you do it against Jair Rodriguez, who has a killer guard? Like this is not the Jair Rodriguez that fought Frankie Edgar, dude. We saw that when fucking Ortega took him down. That he's really good. So I'm gonna pick Jair Rodriguez. I think he gets a TKO. I think Rodriguez has a bit more power than Max Holloway. I think he can catch Ortega with a spinning technique and perhaps slip him, you know. So I'm gonna go Yair Rodriguez TKO. I think that's an easy pick. Also, we have to take into consideration, yes, Yair was finished by Volkanovski, but I don't know, man. I don't see Ortega knocking out Yair or subbing him. So I'm gonna go Yair Rodriguez in that. And the main event, Brandon Royval versus Brandon Moreno, the battle of the Brandons. I'm gonna have to go with Brandon Moreno by unanimous decision because I'm not sure if Royval can knock this guy out. You know, I know he has the power to do it, but I don't know, man. I didn't see the Royval of other like contender fights in the title fight against fucking Pantoja, because like Pantoja was crazy. He's a fucking zombie, right? It's really hard to finish this guy. But I also didn't see like this hungry fucking you're not gonna hold me down Royal, you know? And I think that Moreno can implement the same game plan on him. So yeah, I think it's an easy Moreno pick. You could say he can sub him. Like the only TKO loss that Royval has was that injury against Moreno, where he got slammed, and I think his shoulder, just like Ortega, his shoulder broke, and then he got like pounded a bit, and the ref was like, okay, he's not defending himself. But it wasn't like he was like fucking rocked or anything. He got his shoulder dislocated. But still, man, I don't know. I don't know. I think Moreno has a chip on his shoulder. He's probably pretty mad that Pantoja beat him again, and that was a close fight. So I could see a world where Moreno's really hungrier than Royval at this point, and really has a point to prove. So more than technique for technique, because they fought and Moreno did look better than him. I'm gonna go with Moreno. I think that's the safest pick, and perhaps I'm gonna. I have 5 bets right now. I don't remember exactly what are they, but there are 2 parlays, and then I have. I don't have the Puey submission yet. Oh, I have 2 parlays with money lines, and I have 2 parlays with plus 2.5 rounds, plus 2.5 rounds, minus 2.5 rounds, and yeah, I have Moreno submission as a bet as well, and we have a ghost bet that I don't remember. So yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for me. And if you wanna like see my parlays and shit, just leave a comment down below, and I'm gonna upload a post or a video with my parlays, so you can like copy them, analyze them, tell me how much of a fucking dumbass I am. I don't care, as long as you're liking, subscribing, and perhaps donating money so I can spend it on gambling. Peace, guys.